Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Ishmael from Conjured Realm. Okay, so in today's video, I wanted to give you guys a few tips on how to manage the 3D while you're manifesting a new reality. I know at times the 3D can be very tricky, and I know the 3D can be very discouraging when you're trying to bring in something new and it's showing you the opposite. So how do you go about managing 3D when you want a new reality? And I'm just gonna start off by saying, not to toot my own horn, but I'm so good at this. Like, I think this is like one of my best things. I've worked on so much that I just got so good at managing the 3D that now the 3D doesn't bother me whatsoever. So I want to give you guys a few tips on what I do to help me along the way. So the first thing that you want to start doing when you're manifesting something and the 3D is showing you the opposite is, one is self-talk. I'm very big on self-talk and talking to myself out of a situation or changing the way I perceive something through talking to myself. So if, say for example, I'm manifesting an SP to be a certain way, but they're acting not favorably in the 3D, and this is something that I'm around consistently, I just talk to myself. I tell myself, okay, this is not their final version. This version that I'm seeing right now is not the version that I want, so therefore the 3D doesn't matter. This is just an old version of them playing out, and I just have to understand that what I really want is internally, and I get to experience the correct version of them in my mind at any time I want. The 3D has no bearing on whether or not I get to have my desire. This is gonna pass, it doesn't matter, just don't even pay attention to it. And this has worked for me on multiple occasions. A lot of what you're doing to sustain a better outcome while the 3D is updating is just realizing that you can get to this new version internally anytime you want. So as long as you stay consistent with that new story, the 3D has no choice but to change. So if I know this, why am I worried about what they're doing right now? Why am I gonna stress myself out about something that is already changing? Right? So this is the mindset that I go into every time I see something that's unfavorable. And the next thing I like to do, and I know some people don't like or have the option of doing this, but we'll talk more about this later, is ignoring the 3D. So if I can help it, I ignore the 3D as much as possible. Because like I previously just said, the 3D is nothing but old news. It's like a dump. It's been here, done that. It's nothing that I want to put my attention towards, because I know the more I keep paying attention to it, the more it'll just consistently stay the way it is. And obviously that's not what we want. So I just shift inward. Now, if you're someone who, let's say you're trying to get an SP and you work with this person and you can't really get away from them per se, I want you to, yes, ignore them, but at the same time, if you can't help but interact with them because of work, just do what you have to do for the meantime, and then let that all be what it is. Do not try to force any communication if that's not what's happening. Do not force anything with them while they're around you, right? Just do what you have to do, get your work done, and then besides that, you are ignoring this person. You're not giving them any attention. You're not paying attention to what they're doing, what they're not doing, because none of this is helping our case with manifesting the new version of them. So same thing with like money or bills and stuff. If you have bills to pay and you're waiting for this money to come in, obviously I'm not telling you to quit your job and start manifesting, visualizing in your room that this money is coming, because that's not going to help your current situation. Do what you have to do in the 3D to get past the situation, right? And then while you're done doing that, or while you're fixing the situation, in the meantime, you're going to be visualizing, scripting, and affirming for a new reality. But at the same time, I don't want you to put so much focus to the 3D that it's stressing you out, it's causing you anxiety. Because why? Reacting to the 3D is essentially affirming that you want more of it, or accepting the 3D for what it is. Because if we are reacting, that means we are accepting. So there's no reason why we should be reacting if this is not what we want. If I know that this is almost about to change, or it's inevitable for this to change, there's no reason why I'm putting all this energy to react. So those are my tips that I personally use when I try to manage the 3D while manifesting a new reality. And by all means, I'm not saying that this is like completely easy. I understand that if you're new to this or if you've been reacting to the 3D for so long, it can be a little tricky, yes. Okay, I completely fully understand it can be tricky, but the main thing you should be focusing on is progress, right? You don't want to keep feeding all this energy to an unfavorable circumstance in a 3D because it'll give your brain permission to accept the things that you don't want, and obviously that's not what we're trying to do. So put your attention inward, manage the 3D as little as possible or interact with it as little as possible just to get by, and focus inward. This is the biggest tip I can ever give someone, and the reason why a lot of people fail or succeed while manifesting. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. I'm still doing one-on-one coaching. If you guys are interested, contact me at conjuredrealm@gmail.com. All right, guys, happy manifesting.